In this video, we'll learn about the signs of the trigonometric functions and how the signs can help us evaluate functions. Because we use the values of the coordinates of x and y and r, depending on where the terminal side of our angle lies, our values for sine and cosine can be positive or negative. X can be positive or negative, y can be positive or negative, but r will always be positive because it is just simply the distance from the origin to the point that holds x and y. So we don't really need to worry about the value of r here. So depending on which quadrant we lie in, that will specify what the sign of our trig function is going to be. Now, some people like to just memorize them all, but if you want, you can just keep a chart handy for reference as you're solving these. In quadrant 1, it's easy to remember all of the trig functions are going to be positive, and the reason for that is because both coordinates of the x and y for the point are going to be positive. So in quadrant 1, if you're over here, all the functions are positive. So everything here, all functions are positive. All are positive over here in quadrant 1, all right? In quadrant 2, however, if we come over here and get into this quadrant right here, what happens is we have a negative x but a positive y. So what will happen there when we use the ratio that has those values, then what's going to happen is only our sine and our cosecant are going to be positive. So our sine will be positive and our cosecant will be positive. So sine will be positive and cosecant will be positive over here, and everything else will be negative. If we fall into quadrant 3, what's going to happen in quadrant 3 is we're going to have a negative x coordinate and a negative y coordinate, and when we fall into quadrant 3, what's going to happen when we run those ratios of our 6 trig functions, our tangent and our cotangent are going to be the only thing that come out to be positive. So our tangent and our cotangent, and for some reason I wrote cotangent first, which doesn't really matter, but just to stay consistent here, let's write tangent and then cotangent are going to be positive. So our tangent and our cotangent are positive, and everything else will end up being negative. And last, if we're in quadrant 4, we have a positive x and a negative y. So in that case, our cosine and our secant are going to be the only thing that are positive. So our cosine and our secant are positive, and everything else will be negative. So this is a nice little chart, or you can just use the coordinate plane, whichever one you like, however you like to remember it, when you are working these problems. So let's take a look at how we can use this to help us answer questions and solve problems. So let's say you are told that the sine of an angle is less than 0 and the cosine of an angle is less than 0, and we need to name the quadrant in which the angle lies. Well, we know that the sine is less than 0, which tells us that sine of theta is negative. So I need to find a quadrant in which the sine is negative, so it's going to either be quadrant 3 or quadrant 4. And then I also know that the cosine is negative, so cosine is less than 0. So I'm looking for the quadrant in which the cosine is also negative. So it's not this one, it must be this one where both are negative. So I am in quadrant 3. So this angle lies in quadrant 3. So the theta lies in quadrant 3. Let's say we're interested in an angle whose tan is less than 0, but whose cosine is greater than 0. So we're looking at an angle whose tangent is negative and whose cosine is positive. So we're looking for the quadrant where we have a tangent value that is negative. So we're either going to be in quadrant 2 or we're going to be in quadrant 4. And then we want to find a cosine that is positive that goes along with that. So we are not going to be here. Probably going to be, or not probably, we are going to be right there. We're going to be in quadrant 4. So this is going to be an angle that lies in quadrant 4. So this is a fairly simple idea. So let's see how we can use this to actually calculate the 6 trig functions. All right, so let's use the signs to help us evaluate the trig functions. So let's say we're given that tan theta is equal to negative 2 over 3 and that cosine theta is greater than 0, and we want to actually find cosine theta and cosecant theta. So what we need to do is be able to figure out what our values are of x, y, and r in order to find our ratios for cosine theta and cosecant theta. Well, we know that tan theta is negative 2/3, so we know that tan is negative. So this is the first thing that we know. Number one, we know that tan is negative. And we know that cosine theta is positive. So these are the same characteristics we just did. So therefore, we're going to see that this particular value falls in quadrant, whoops, I circled the wrong one, or I put a square around the wrong one. Right here, I had a tan that's negative and a cosine that's positive. This is where I wanted to be. I'm in quadrant 4. And the reason I need to know that is so that when I look at tan theta equal to negative 2/3, I know that the ratio for tan theta is y over x. But because my negative is right here, I don't know which one of those is negative. I don't know whether it's my y or my x value that's negative. But because I know I am down in this quadrant right here, this tells me that it's my y value that's negative. So now I know that my x value is going to be 3. It's going to be a positive value because it's a 3 on the bottom. So this value is 3. And this value is going to be my y value, which is negative 2. So now I can solve for r. R is equal to the square root of x squared plus y squared. So I have square root of 3 squared plus negative 2 squared. So 9 plus 4, square root 13. So there's my value of r, and now I can set about finding my cosine theta and my cosecant theta. Cosine theta is the ratio of, I'm changing colors here, cosine theta is the ratio of x over r. So I'm going to have 3 over square root 13. I need to rationalize that denominator. I know you love doing that. Square root 13 over square root 13. So I end up with 3 square roots of 13 over 13. And I can't go any further than that, so I'm just going to stop right there. And my cosecant theta is the ratio of r over y, which is going to be the square root of 13 over negative 2. And I can just write it with my negative sign out here just to make it look a little nicer. But I don't have to. Okay, so there's one. Let's try another one. So given tan theta is equal to 3 over 5 and cosine theta that is less than 0, find sine theta and secant theta. All right, so what do I know and what do I need to know? So I know, first of all, that my tan theta is positive, okay? So I'm either going to be in quadrant 1 or I'm going to be in quadrant 3. And I know that cosine theta is negative. So that's going to finish it off for me. That's going to narrow it down. So my cosine theta that's negative is going to put it right here. So I am going to be in quadrant 3. So that's where I'm going to land. That's where my angle is. So I am 3 over 5. And tan theta, remember, is made of the ratio of y over x, 3 over 5. So if I am landing in quadrant 3, that means I am in here. Let me see. Let me get ink going on here. That means I'm over here somewhere. That means both of my x and y values are negative. That means I have a y of equal to -3 and I have x equal to -5 in order to make this happen. So both of these need to have a negative sign on them, which makes it work anyway, even though it's a positive number right here. Negative divided by a negative equals a positive, but in order to land in the correct quadrant as coordinates, I need them both to be negative. So it's important to watch that. So make sure that you're looking at that. I need to go back 5 and down 3. So I'm coming over here somewhere. That's probably not perfectly drawn, but there it is. All right, so my r value in this case is going to be r equals square root x squared, which is going to be -5 squared, plus y squared, -3 squared. So r is going to end up equaling square root 34. So then to find my sine theta, I need the ratio of y over r, and y is -3, so -3 over square root 34. Rationalize that denominator. Gets me -3 square roots of 34 over 34. So there's my sine theta, and then I need secant theta. Which is my ratio of r over x. My r value is square root 34 over x, which is -5. And I don't need to rationalize that. And there I have found the two trigonometric functions that were requested. And notice that this value is negative, which is secant in quadrant 3, which should be negative. And my sine value is also negative, which should also be negative in quadrant 3. In our next video, we're going to take a look at reference angles and what they are and how to draw them.